In the Marvel Universe, heroes often have a dark side, and when it comes to Spider-Man, the Mirror Universe reflects some truly terrifying possibilities. Today, we're diving deep into the shadows to explore the top 10 evil versions of Spider-Man. Prepare to meet your nightmares as we uncover these twisted reflections of your friendly neighborhood hero. Some are brutal, some are monstrous, and some, well, let's just say they'll make you question everything you thought you knew about good and evil. Number 5. Ghost Spider. On Earth 11,638, Peter Parker, later known as Ghost Spider, not to be confused with Gwen Stacy, was resurrected from hell by an alternate reality, Bruce Banner, who had become the Sorcerer Supreme. Imbued with the souls of hell, Ghost Spider became a terrifying fusion of Ghost Rider and Spider-Man, possessing a horrifying blend of their powers. However, before his descent into hell, this Peter Parker, known as the Amazing Spider-Man, on Earth 11638, was a monster in his own right. Driven by a relentless pursuit of power, he absorbed the essence of Spider-Man from across the multiverse, becoming addicted to their strength. Tragically, this included his own Uncle Ben, who despite supporting Peter's heroism, ultimately aided in the sedation and demise of his cross-dimensional kin. In a final act of retribution, Spider-Man 616 absorbed Amazing Spider-Man's powers, resulting in his death. Number 4. Zombie Spider-Man. From Earth 2149 emerges a Peter Parker, ravaged by a zombie plague. In this universe, superpowered zombies retain their intelligence, but are consumed by an insatiable hunger. This hunger drove Spider-Man to devour his beloved MJ, a horrific act he would later repeat with Aunt May. However, Spider-Man made a chilling discovery. By resisting the urge to feed, the hunger could be suppressed. This restraint transformed Peter, his appearance morphing into a grotesque parody of his former self. His skin turned ashen, his lips dissolved, revealing a terrifyingly exposed set of teeth. He became immune to pain, even after suffering a horrific leg injury, while his fellow zombies remained fixated on their insatiable hunger. Haunted by his monstrous acts, Spider-Man clung to his tattered mask, unable to bear the sight of his own reflection. This Peter Parker was a soul tormented by the atrocities he committed. During a brief excursion to a zombie-free Earth, he saved Mary Jane and Harry Osborn from the Sinister Six, only to inadvertently unleash the zombie virus upon them, triggering a horrifying chain of events. Overwhelmed by guilt and despair, believing he could never truly atone, Zombie Spider-Man ripped off his own skin and discarded it in a garbage can. To cope with the horrors he witnessed, he clung to humor, finding dark amusement in the absurdity of their situation. This grim humor was most evident when he consumed the Silver Surfer, gaining cosmic power alongside his existing Spider-Man abilities. Spider-Man experienced excruciating agony when using his arteries for locomotion, a gruesome alternative to his web-slinging. 40 years after devouring Galactus, Spider-Man, along with other powerful zombies, infiltrated another dimension using a dimensional travel device built by Iron Man. Despite his monstrous form, Peter Parker still clung to a desperate hope for redemption. He dedicated himself to developing a vaccine for the zombie plague, ultimately utilizing the Sandman as a vessel to deliver the cure through nanotechnology. In a final bittersweet act of vengeance, he perished alongside the zombified Avengers, finally finding a measure of peace after the unimaginable horrors he had endured. Number 3. Patton Parnel. Patton Parnel, a Peter Parker variant from Earth 51412, was a deeply disturbed young man. He exhibited a cruel streak, torturing animals and viewing his neighbors as subjects for his twisted experiments. He would obsessively spy on his next-door neighbor, Sarah Jane, through her bedroom window, even plotting to steal samples from her room. Unlike most Spider-Men, Patton took the moniker quite literally. Bitten by a radioactive spider during a school field trip, Patton's body began to mutate, starting with webbed fingers. His abusive uncle Ted, who subjected him to severe beatings, became a frequent target of his growing rage. Driven by a burgeoning bloodlust, Patton began his descent into madness. He devoured his first victim, a trapped rat, and quickly graduated to his neighbor's pet cat. His transformation accelerated. He no longer needed glasses and could produce webbing from his own body. The more he consumed, the more powerful he became, quickly amassing a gruesome collection of animal victims. His first human victim was his Uncle Ted, who ironically had once preached to him the adage, "With great power comes great appetite," a twisted reflection of the original. At school, Patton struggled to suppress his urges, resorting to consuming pigeons, savoring their liquefied flesh with a disturbing relish. He then escalated his predation, devouring a school bully and abducting a neighborhood child searching for his lost dog, another victim of Patton's appetite. Through his research, Patton discovered that the spider that bit him transferred its eggs through its bite. With chilling intent, he lured Sarah Jane into his room, kissing her without consent, and then biting into her neck. A terrifying chase ensued, revealing his true monstrous form. Confined within his room were not only the abducted child, but also his Uncle Ted, now a grotesque incubator for Patton's countless spider offspring. Though Patton was ultimately killed and devoured by the dimension-hopping Morlun, Sarah Jane's fate remained sealed. She was now a carrier for Patton's monstrous progeny, a horrifying legacy of his twisted existence. Number 2, Dark Spider-Man. Next on our list of sinister Spider-Men is none other than Mac Gargan of Earth-616, better known as the Scorpion. Like many others, Gargan eventually bonded with the Venom symbiote, transforming him into a force to be reckoned with. This symbiote-enhanced Scorpion was far more ruthless and powerful than ever before, combining his existing abilities with the full spectrum of Venom's powers, surpassing even Brock's previous incarnations. True to the nature of the symbiote, this version of Venom was a violent brute. During a confrontation with Spider-Man alongside the Sinister 12, Gargan chillingly vowed that the supervillain group would carve their names into his corpse and hang him from the nearest flagpole. This Venom was notorious for cannibalistic tendencies, even demanding that Skrull transforms into Spider-Man before devouring him. When Norman Osborn seized control of the Avengers, he commissioned a special serum for Gargan. This concoction preserved the symbiote's powers while altering Gargan's appearance, transforming him into a grotesque parody of Spider-Man's black suit. Thus was born the Sinister Spider-Man, Osborn's twisted champion. This dark reflection of the hero descended further into madness, becoming increasingly violent and deranged. He devoured limbs during combat, even consuming opponents in the midst of battle. Humility was not in his vocabulary. After apprehending General Wolfram, a bank robber, Sinister Spider-Man not only pocketed some of the loot, but also devoured the man's arm. He then used the ill-gotten gains to hire a stripper, only to murder her after indulging his desires, and then plant her body in J. Jonah Jameson's bed. When a horde of villains attacked him simultaneously, Sinister Spider-Man proved his ruthlessness. He devoured most of his assailants, ate their leaders' appendages, and then casually presented remains to the police. The surviving villains, traumatized by the encounter, were too terrified to ever pursue him again. All the while, Sinister Spider-Man reveled in his brutality, finding sadistic amusement in his reign of terror. Number 1, the Spider. The Spider, a horrifying fusion of Peter Parker and Deadpool's macabre humor, is arguably the most menacing Spider-Man on this list. Hailing from Earth-15, this twisted hero is the result of a horrific union between Peter Parker and the Carnage symbiote. Like other members of teams like Weapon X and the Exiles, he's tasked with repairing temporal anomalies within the space-time continuum. However, Spider-Man is a grossly inadequate title for this monstrous being. He's simply known as the Spider, a creature of pure violence. Possessing the same raw power as Cletus Cassidy's Carnage, the Spider is a psychotic killer with no regard for human life. His bloodlust was further evident during a mission to eliminate all mutants from a universe ruled by Magneto and his M-asteroid. The Spider even inquired about the possibility of killing random civilians to compensate for any mutants he might miss. Violence isn't just a means to an end for the Spider. It's a perverse form of entertainment. He threatened to give Scarlet Witch a few new piercings, referring to stabbing her. Despite his insanity, he displayed a twisted sense of loyalty. When the Hulk and Firestar turned on Hyperion, the Spider intervened, restraining the Hulk to prevent him from further harming Hyperion. He formed an alliance with the now unstable, almost insane Hyperion, a partnership born from mutual depravity. Beyond his brutality, the Spider reveled in tormenting his victims. He taunted the restrained and injured Firestar, calling her a loser, and cruelly asking her what it felt like to eat her own arm. However, Firestar ultimately delivered a devastating blow, incinerating the Spider with a massive energy blast. This chilling tale serves as a stark reminder that even the most noble heroes possess the potential for unimaginable evil. The Spider demonstrates that the power to save lives can just as easily be used to destroy them.